Welcome to Soni Irabor Live. Tonight, we're discussing something very, very dear to my heart because of what's been going on in this country. Politics aside, human interest has become a major issue. How does humanity behave within itself, amongst itself, and to itself? I'm using that collective noun because I wonder how a man who's an adult man, who's a father, can therefore go to bed with an underage child and feel at home with it. Well, they used to say, in the estimation of the right-thinking members of the society, you do not, I repeat, you do not abuse privileges, neither should you therefore insult the sensibility of other human beings. Then you do not also have a right to take the comfort or the, what should I call it, the rights, actually, of a minor. Well, what comes to my mind? Elizabeth Ochanya Ogbanje, 13 years old, now late. This news has been trending for some weeks now, and it is said that she was a victim of sexual abuse from the age of 8 to the age of 13, and of course, we all know what happened. Someone, a lecturer, was arrested, and somehow he managed to get away with it by being granted bail. After the hue and cry, things started happening again, and I think he's back again in detention. But what has become of Ochanya? She's late. She died. She was underage. She was abused by father and son. And that is a story that is happening in Nigeria today. A very sad story, I must say. But the shame of it all is that it's been happening for too long, and until something like this happens, we do not comment properly. We do not act. And the laws, apparently, don't seem to play their roles so that they can defend the defenseless, and so on and so forth. But I have three guests in the studio tonight, and I'm going to first deal with them one after the other, and then maybe we'll now take it in totality. First is Ler Jonathan, who is an alumnus of the Federal Government Girls College, Boko. She's representing the Alumni Association, and in that capacity, I must say, she has a lot to talk about. Welcome, Ler.
Thank you.
Now we also have the lady that broke the news, and she's Miss Adefunke Adewunmi, founder of Diamond Support Foundation. She raised the alarm about the abuse of this young girl. Maybe too late, maybe not too late, but the fact is she had to raise the alarm, and that's why we're even discussing it today. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. So maybe you should start by letting us know what really, how did you know about it? And
okay, the sister of Ochanya,
yeah,
the elder sister, reached out to one of us because Black Diamond Support Foundation has actually been in cases of rape and assault. We go into school and all that, so we are well known online. So she just felt that we could help. So she now went through one of us, and the story was held in June, which she posted about it, and we're like, okay, now that we've heard about it, let's see what we can do. We reached out to FIDA, and we spoke to the girl. We spoke to the caregiver, because she has been in and out of the hospital based on the sexual assault.
wow,
Because she used to be drugged before the whole incident happened. And the account of the girl itself, or Ochanya herself, was that it started with the son when she was 8+. She still used to sleep with her and warn her not to talk out. And it has been on because the reason why she was even in their house was because there was no school in the village where she was born. So she has to, her mother knew that she was a very brilliant girl, very bright girl, and she has to take her to town to the sister's house who was supposed to be Ochanya's auntie, and the husband, so that she can go to school and be trained there. So she was more or less there for educational purposes, not house help, not anything, to be shown love and care. So the son started, and she could not speak out. Then one day the son's sister saw them and raised the alarm to the parents.
Okay.
Like, see what is happening and all that. Instead of the auntie to take precaution, Ochanya was beaten for it that...
No, wait a minute. The sister of the boy
yes,
saw them, raised the alarm,
yes,
and then Ochanya, the victim, was beaten.
Yeah, she was beaten. She was beaten. She was called that she was the one seducing. She has spirit. She has they gave her a lot of names. Like, she's the one seducing their son. She's the one doing this. She's the one doing that. She's supposed to be blamed, and she was beaten by the woman and her husband. It was after that one that the husband now, the father, now started is at the age of 9+. So it went up from 8.5 to 9 before the discovery by the boy's sister. Now the father started at the age of 9. And most of the time she used to be drugged. She doesn't even really know. She was sodomized. She was being slept with both front and anally. Yes, for the period. And she couldn't really talk out. She was held in bondage for the 4 years.
EA, well, you represent the Old Girls Association, and apparently she went to your school, right?
Yes, she was a student in Federal Government Girls College, Boko. Yes. And
so,
I actually just saw the story online for the first time on Saturday.
This Saturday?
This Saturday, when she passed. And I saw it and I just thought, this is, sorry?
Last week Saturday.
Last week Saturday, yes.
Okay.
So it was forwarded to a group, and I saw it and I said, I don't want to read this. Too much bad news already. And it now came up again on our alumni group. And we were all shouting, oh, this is terrible, this is terrible. Then someone said, oh, we heard she was a student in our school. Everybody said, what? What do you mean she was a student in our school? So we said, call the principal. So someone called the principal, and the principal confirmed that she was a student in the school, and she had been taken, I think, home in January because she was falling ill. And after that, you know, all of this now, it culminated in her death.
Could there is there any medical report to show the cause of death?
Okay, when she first of all fell ill, because she entered Boko on merits, and she was still living with the alleged rapist and the wife. So she was taken to the hospital in February that showed the gross abuse. She was messed up, and it was that the woman now called the parents, and so there was a particular part of it that we're still keeping on wraps because of a court proceedings that actually showed forth that it was done by the man. A lot of DNA and all that. So what I'm saying in this was that it was February. The woman knew what was happening.
And she didn't do anything about it?
She didn't do anything. She told her not to tell anybody. That was when Ochanya was bedridden for 2 months. Yes, she was bedridden for 2 months. Too much of the drugs really affected her. And there is autopsy results as well that actually proved a lot of assault and rape on the girl.
When we're going on a short break, but just one question, FGGC. When you found out, what then did you decide to do?
We decided that we would set up a committee to actually go after, first get the facts, and then we heard that the alleged rapist had been let go of somehow. He was no longer in custody, and everybody was outraged. And we said, okay, there's no point just being outraged. We will take action as a committee. So we formed a committee. We also got in our parent organization. We have the Unity Schools Old Students Association, which is all the federal government colleges together. And we called their attention to the matter, and they came with us, and we heard there were protests. We now started raising funds among ourselves to support those protests, but to also find out what was going on. But the other thing, the question that also came up in our conversation was, how many more Ochanyas are out there?
That's the question. And so we're going to hold on to that. and be back after this break. How many more Ochanyas are there? After this break, you'll get answers to that question.
Make your event a memorable one with captivating and well-organized event center at Lagos Television's prestigious Blue Roof with a capacity of more than 3,000 seats and a fully air-conditioned 750 seats combo hall capacity. Suitable for annual general meetings, government functions, exhibitions, religious activities, wedding ceremonies, burials, musical show, and many more in a well-secure environment. Spacious car park, uninterrupted power supply, and impeccable facilities. Take advantage of all of these at affordable rates.
For inquiries, please call 0808-252-8742 or 0802-282-9898.
Lagos Television Event Center, a tasteful event center for your delight.
Soni Irabor Live this evening has tried to, dig more to find out the implication of what has happened, what's wrong with this country, why are there so many cases of rape. Ler Jonathan asked a question just now, how many more Ochanyas are there now? But right now we have among us, or with us, Emmanuel Emeh, who is a youth counselor, and I just want to find out from you, Emmanuel. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Soni.
Ochanya, just 13, abused for 5 years. What's the implication to the mind, even to somebody who hears that kind of news?
It's very devastating, to say the least. Even coming down here, thinking about it is gory. I'm a father to a 17-year-old girl, and I can't just imagine my daughter going through that. It's very disturbing, and I think it's high time we put a stop to this kind of situation, really.
Now, you heard the level of abuse. Funke talked about even the autopsy showing how gory it was. That was her language.
Yeah.
Now, what could lead a man to that? Let's start with his son, who probably was a youth like the child. What could lead a man to do such a thing?
Now, it's very hard to actually determine the cause right now, because we have to, see the person down and profile the person. There are several incidences. The truth is that maybe they've been doing it before. It's a heightened level of insecurity, for a man to pounce on a minor. And even the protection that the society gives those people is even much more worse. She mentioned is the myth. In our society, you lose your phone, somebody steals your phone. The first thing they say, why do you keep it there? The focus is not
even attacking the crime.
Exactly.
Okay.
So a girl is raped. You're not thinking about the rapist. You're thinking about, what were you doing there? Why did you wear that? But people just focus on the wrong things. Just like, I hear these things often. It's sad to say. Many times people don't speak up. Just like I said, they start beating up the girl. They start calling her a witch, everything, just to subdue it. And society protects the person.
Is it the society that protects the person? Or is it that we are not enforcing the laws the way we ought to, and so a lot is going wrong and nobody's talking?
Yeah, the law enforcement society. For example, somebody reports that case. We have cases that we've dealt with. Okay, we need to make a formal report. And what happens is they say, please don't go. If you go, your father might be jailed, this might be jailed, there's no care provider, there's poverty in the land, so we just keep quiet. They'll say, just wait, after you finish school, you will go, you'll marry, and leave. Those are the things we hear. These things happen every single day.
Your foundation, what does it really do?
The foundation is actually for the indigent children and women, because they are the most vulnerable. So what we do is that we try as much as possible to empower them with information they need to know. We try to empower them with skills so that they can be financially independent to take care of their children. Just like what they were saying about Ochanya's case. When Ochanya died, The first thing the father said is, this is the end of it. He doesn't have money to prosecute the case. Because how will he even start? From the autopsy to the going back and, you know, and a lot of impunity in our society. So that was the reason why I posted the story that we now followed up to raise money for the autopsy, to support them as much as possible, to bridge the bridging gap between them, poverty and injustice, for them to get the justice they want.
What should government do? There are enforcement agencies, law enforcement, and there's even Ministry of Youth, Women and Youth, right? Social development. There are relevant agencies that can actually intervene and maybe, you know, slow down incidents of this kind of.
Our laws are very weak, sir. Very, very weak.
Is it the laws that are weak or the enforcement of the laws that is
I
not
think
there?
both are weak, both. But both are weak. I have to be sincere with you. When it comes to crime like this, number one, there is culture of silence. Then our tradition, like if you speak out, who will marry her? How would the societies look at them? The stigmatization of the victim and not the abuser.
There's a strange reference you just made. Now I'm watching a film, Ochanya is also from that region, where a child was raped by the wrong person, and the wrong person was accused. And that child became the victim and was taken to another kingdom to marry. What kind of interplay is this?
Yeah, because that is what happened.
That strengthens the 10 points you're making.
Yes, it's just the stigmatization. There's a lot of stigmatization that envelop our culture and our tradition that makes a lot of victims not to talk out, makes a lot of impunity to happen. And is really, really, is a menace. When we talk about sexual assault and abuse, we normally used to have an average of 5 to 6 cases weekly. And at the end of the day, we are only able to prosecute 1 because the family will be like, let it go. They have spoken to us. We can't go further.
Mr. Emeh, as a counselor, you are faced with situations like this regularly.
Yes.
Okay, what's your relationship with the law enforcement agencies? What then do you do? How do you try to get them involved so that such situations don't occur?
No, that's a very good question. We don't interface with the law enforcement agents.
You don't?
We interface with the counselors, other counseling units, Ministry of Women Affairs and everything. There's a particular situation where there was abuse, and we even went as far as reporting, and they insisted that unless the victim comes directly, they won't do anything about it. And of course, the victim is not protected. And they couldn't go because what's the protection? No, the protection. They are stigmatized.
You are now saying that situations like this, no matter the circumstance, the victim is not protected, so nothing can be done.
Yeah, nothing can be done. It's very difficult because unless the abused person comes out, you can't do anything. Many times they will tell you in confidence, but they say, please don't let it go beyond. They will stigmatize you. You know, there's going to be a lot on you, and they're going to call you names. They say you want to, wreck the whole family.
So,
it's different in
Diamond
Lagos
Foundation, counselor, you have a challenge in front of you. How do you address it?
Okay, for Black Diamond Support Foundation, we've been able to cope with cases in Lagos because of the Office of the Public Defenders. They are very, very effective for us. We are partners with them. They try to, number one, when we report a case, the first thing we get is protection of the victim. After going to the Mirabel, getting the DNA of, ensure that there was a rape. So they protect. But other states, because we are in over 6 zones in the country, there is no such organization like that. So most of the time when we go there, at the end of the day, we come back as the victim. We are going to be the one that will even be ashamed. And the abuse, like what happened to Ochanya, the man was going around saying that you people will come out as losers.
He said that.
Yes, he never believed this outcry. That's one of the reasons why we went on, because we were like, we don't know what to do again. He was so confident of himself because of what he has been seeing it around him, that if such thing happens, nothing will happen.
How many cases of rape have you dealt with, Mr. Emeh?
It's hard to tell, really. I mean, it's sad, and it's sad to say that. It happens, and sometimes you lose count, really.
So, did they come to report to you?
Yeah, they don't really come to. We find out.
You find out.
Yes.
When you find out, what do you do?
In interplay, we begin to talk. It takes a long time for you to come back. Some are even boys, not just girls right now.
No, boys
as in molested, sexually molested.
Boys are raped?
Yes. Yes, they are. And it takes a long time for them to come out. You know, you have to win their trust, because if they tell you and you go all out, they will just
freeze.
Yeah, they will freeze. So it takes a while. It's a process.
Yeah, because we get most of them when we go to school for counseling. Yeah. We get most of them. They just come out. They be like, my mommy doesn't know about it. Don't tell my mommy. When we go for sensitization in schools.
So, will I be wrong to say that almost every home has been tampered with?
1 out of 3, actually, based on statistics. 1 out of 3. And the truth is that if the father is involved, I guarantee you the mother knows. Most of the time, the mother knows.
Obviously, from the way you said
yes,
it.
and she's protecting her marriage.
She's protecting her marriage, yeah. That's what happens.
Yes.
What? That's what happens.
Like one woman,
I'm sorry,
the 3
so
girls.
Emotional about this.
Yeah,
it is.
The 3 girls were being abused by their father. And we went to the school sensitization, and the eldest daughter told us about it. Then we called the 2 younger ones from the class, and so we called the mom. He said, I know, but there's nothing I can do.
Okay. All right, I'm going to take a short break now. And, gosh, when we come back, there will be more revelations and more determinations. Yes, I have to look at my camera. Forgive me. Anyway, we'll be right back. Well, the program is going, it's trending, as you say, Soni Irabor Live. There are some reactions here. It's unfortunate that Ochanya had to die for the case to be addressed. But my question is, where was the mother of the house when all these happened in 5 sad years? Where are her real parents? This is Uganze_Mackenzie. That's Instagram, on Soni Irabor Live Instagram. Another one, I am Usese, okay. It was actually in the course of investigating her health complications that the sexual abuse and defilement was discovered as the root cause of the problems. My question is, why haven't these culprits been sentenced? The mother of the house can't be exempted from this case, so what will her fate be? Now, back to you. You threw that question before now. Many more Ochanyas in this.
How many more Ochanyas are out there?
Right.
I mean, one of the things that we're trying to do, we've seen some of the wave of protests around the country. And on Thursday, there was one in Abuja. Now, the interesting thing, we sent some of our old students to the school itself because, of course, the children are traumatized. This is their classmate or their schoolmate that has died so horrifically. And we went there and we started talking to the children about the need to speak up, cry out. And we decided we're going to launch a campaign called Speak Up, Cry Out. And it's all about how can we provide safe spaces for our children to talk to us. I'm glad that Emmanuel is here. We're all here. Some of us are fathers, brothers, uncles, aunties. How come Ochanya was going to a church? She was in a church community. There were family members. There were different. How come she didn't feel safe enough to tell somebody. She was in a school.
Hello?
You know, these are things that happen. So those are some of the things. How many more Ochanyas are out there?
Okay,
That's my question.
I have a Pastor Margaret So, who's in Benue. Hello? Yes, good evening, Pastor. How are you? I just threw this at you because we've been talking to people here, and I hope you can hear me. Okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Even though the network is a bit strange here, it's really bad to many.
Okay. Oh, I see. So you're not even watching the show that well, are you? I say you're not even able to watch it. Is that what you're saying? Because of the rains. Okay. All right. Well, so far, we've had a serious discussion. And you, as a pastor, you knew Ochanya very well, did you?
Yes.
You knew her?
She stayed with me for about 4 months.
Oh,
She moved into the home in the month of first week of July.
Okay.
And she was with us until her death.
Oh, okay. Now, when she was with you, did she open up to you? Did she talk to you? Hello?
She shared a bit of what she went through in that home.
Okay.
And her mother also did.
Okay. What did the mother say? Because there are, Instagram people are asking why was the mother quiet for so long, 5 years? What did the mother tell you?
The mother told me she moved in Ochanya into that home when she was 5 years because there were no schools running at that time in their own village.
Uh-huh.
So she took her to the cousin's house. The perpetrator's wife is actually Ochanya's mother's cousin.
Oh, okay. All right.
Who happens to be somewhere they could attend school. So she spoke to her and took Ochanya in when she was 5.
Okay.
And they didn't get to know Ochanya had challenges, even though there were times she ran back home. But for the fear of being
stigmatized,
she was
maybe.
scared if she talked about it. There were threats.
Oh.
She said there were constant threats from the young boy.
Okay. Do you know how old the young boy is?
He's Victor. His name is Victor Obodia.
Okay.
He's son to Andrew Obodia.
How old is he? How old?
I think she said at the time he was assaulting her, he was 19.
19. So that means he already was a major, an adult, assaulting a minor, which is another offense.
Yes.
Ah. Now, please, what's the spiritual implication of this?
Hello?
Yes. You said the mother said what?
So at that point, the mother said she moved her in there, but they didn't get to know she had all of this trouble. But once in a while, she runs back home.
Oh.
And the mother would insist she goes back until sometime in January when she became very, very sick.
Okay.
But before that, because she fell sick in January, she had 3 serious crises.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She couldn't really trace what was wrong with her until January when she fell very sick from school. That was from the federal school, Boko.
Okay.
And she was called upon to take her to the hospital. And then Ochanya was in the hospital for like 2 months.
Wow.
It was then somebody in the clinic drew her attention to me. I looked at this your daughter's problem is she must have been abused. That was when the mom began to ask Ochanya and she opened up to her.
Okay, now one more.
She has constantly been abused.
One last question to you, Pastor. What did you then do, spiritually speaking? What effort did you make to try and maybe, counsel her, bring her back to self-esteem,
Like you heard, she's been with me for 4 months.
Okay.
If need be, I took some pictures when she first moved in. And there were lots of difference from the period she moved into the house and the current pictures we see on the Facebook. When Ochanya came in, she could hardly walk.
Oh, wow.
And yes, she lived, by the grace of God, our home is, we don't have, where we keep our children is not just an orphanage, it's a home.
Okay.
And gradually she began to believe we told her she could live above her the challenges. She has a purpose, and we keep encouraging her. She was out to church with us, interacting with other children who had gone through similar things.
Okay.
And today they are better people.
Okay. I want to thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much, Pastor, for your efforts, and God bless you. Okay? It's a pity.
I want to say one thing to
yes.
the public.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I have my pain today. When we first took Ochanya to the hospital, you know, when the parents brought her in, I took her to the teaching hospital to run a test to actually know what was wrong with her. It was then we discovered that she was actually being abused severally through the vagina and the anus.
Wow.
And I reported to FIDA people. They were the one who now took the case to the police station.
Okay.
After our first appearance in court, it was made known to the public, and there were no response.
Okay. All right. Because the case is in.
Than, you know.
Yeah. I was just about to. Go on. Yeah, I was just about to say, since the case is in court, there are certain limitations to which it can be publicly discussed. So I will have to therefore reduce the concentration on the case in court. But the morals behind this whole process is what I'm going to pursue after this. And I want to thank you so much for what you've done so far, and God bless you, ma'am. Okay?
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
thank you, ma'am. Thank
but
you.
I also said to the public too that there are lots of Ochanya out there.
Exactly. Ler Jonathan just said that.
Like this evening we went out to rescue a 10-year-old girl.
Oh, wow.
Who has constantly been seen on the street beyond the proper time. We find her at a particular spot beyond 9, 10, 11 at night. Oh. And you can imagine at the time we went in this night, she still hasn't eaten 1 meal.
Oh, gosh. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Now, this is serious. So much revelation there. Child abuse is heavily, is out of control. Yes. So, there are so many people involved in trying to help the Ochanyas in this world, even the 10-year-old she just talked about. And you say, well, there's nothing we can do?
Yeah. I think that one of the things we can do, I mean, we've been with Ochanya, we've seen this thing. It is painful that right now, as Ochanya is raging, politicians are busy campaigning all over the place. I reached out to a friend of mine running for office somewhere, and I said to him, you and all your politician friends, you need to come together, irrespective of party, and look at how we can protect our children. Let us review the laws. When I heard this, I actually called the state governor's office, and I said, you guys need to do something, and let us review the laws, and let us make sure things are in place. Lagos State is leading the way. I don't know why these other states will not follow. So one, because when the government gets involved, we see what Lagos State has done. Yes. There are protections for these children, and those are the things we need to put in place. And I think that as NGOs, we all work in our different places, but we need to begin to put pressure. All the civil society, the churches, everybody, everyone who is coming to us, oh, vote for us, vote here. Let us ask, what are you doing to protect children like Ochanya? That is important. And
especially those who are also clamoring for votes who are guilty of the same offense.
Thank you. Thank you.
They're not above the law.
Absolutely.
Like what the Instagram person said, I want to say that Ochanya's death was just like the climax of it. The case was already in court. He has been arrested, one way or the other, impunity. He was seen on the road. And but when Ochanya died, I just felt that, we felt that there is nothing we're hiding again.
There's nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose again. And we went online and that post went viral and everything. Like she said, everybody is doing their bit. Like I said, we've gone to a lot of schools, we're sensitizing, we go to churches, we go to mosques, we have our counselors. They talk, even parents come out to talk, especially mothers, that this is what is happening, how can I do it? And the next thing we tell them, what is more important, your marriage or your children? And they have to choose. They will prosecute the cases. Some are still in court and everything. But what I'm saying now is that this thing is epidemic. It is not one thing. That is why we need the government.
You said something about complex.
Yes.
Inferiority complex?
Yes. Yes.
Is that enough yardstick? Is that the reason?
It's not really.
What kind of disease is that?
I think poverty. I mean, it's so sad that one of the things that we
Poverty
advocate,
that leads to sexual abuse.
yes, poverty in both ways, both with the victim and unfortunately, one of the things that we advocate is education. Ochanya will have escaped if she's educated. Unfortunately, it's her quest for education actually led to what she went through. I think two things from this case. One, I think the health facilities should be more proactive. I know we are talking about breast cancer and every single thing. They should be able to have some intuition. Check the girls out when they come.
And they are pediatricians.
Yeah, check them out. Then from home, I think mothers need to take a stand. My wife, when my daughter was like 10, she gave her a straight through. If a man touches you, slap him. Then let him come and say this girl slapped him. And it happened once, and the guy couldn't come. So why did that girl slap you? Tell us, what did you do? They touch your behind, whatever. Give him a dirty slap. They let you come and tell us.
Because it's an intrusion of individual privacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
If they touch you, you give them a slap. They let you come and report.
Yeah.
I think it's also useful to find out what can fathers also do, because a lot of the time we hear, oh, mothers,
Yes.
but it takes two people to make a child.
Even fathers,
So what role?
Fathers have been known to abuse their kids.
Their kids,
So you
and
are
so
right
So
about that.
what roles can fathers play in making sure that their children are protected and creating that safe environment for children, both boys and girls, to be able to come and open up to both parents to do that?
Yeah,
I think
and
it would be useful
and
to
the
hear
most
from a
boys are
man's-
being abused by house helps.
Yes.
And
yes,
all
we
that,
have
because
those
we
ones.
have a lot of cases of house helps abusing the boys. And this thing it has to do with more sensitization.
Yeah.
But we good to
Everybody-
know what men
what
can do,
men
because we
can
keep
do.
hearing
Because
mothers,
the
mothers.
women
Yes,
I have to hear,
absolutely.
Yes.
fathers,
Absolutely.
what can you do? So
Absolutely.
fathers,
Over
talk.
to you.
Yes, you have to provide the protection. Not just there, in every area. My daughter comes and says somebody did ABCD. I'm the one that should stand up. It's not my wife. I'm the one responsible.
Exactly.
And every single week, I will sit down, we'll have a family meeting. Let's talk what's happening. We need to know.
Yeah.
We
And
should know.
if a father is sleeping with the daughter, we need to know why is he sleeping with the daughter. Is it that he has mental issues, or is it for rituals, or is it because it's a sickening? How can you see your daughter and your daughter is now the best person that sexually arouses
Arouses
you?
you,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
must be
even if he has
something
mental
wrong.
issues, they should be removed from that place first and foremost.
Yes.
Yes.
And I always say that the only case that we prosecuted to the last was just 1 out of 100 cases
Yes.
of father abusing the
For example, if you take away the man, what happens to the family? Who feeds the family?
Ochanya's
No. There should-
Ochanya's case see that man as a father.
Yes.
And,
See,
then,
father figure.
and the man
Abuse.
betrayed
Man
her
at
trust.
times.
Yes. And she cannot go and tell the mother.
Yeah, but there's something you just said,
Yeah.
which I thought I should question, which is if they take the man away, the family suffers.
That's the society needs to come together to protect the family.
Yeah,
to
because
provide
There's the
for them.
community and the government.
Because even when the man dies, the family still lives
Please,
anyway.
Yeah,
the man can
exactly.
go.
Yeah.
The man can go because we're
Yeah.
No, I
talking
didn't say the
about
man can go like that too. I mean,
Uncle Soni. We're
No,
talking
and I said what I
about that.
said. And I said
Yeah.
was what I just spoke on behalf of what people normally say. People normally
That's
say
what- that's what
happened.
people
What
say.
people say
Yes.
what
That is
Okay.
what is causing the problem.
Yes, that's the problem.
Yes.
Because that is the reason why the women are not talking out. Because they believe that if the head leaves, what will happen to them?
All right,
But I'm
so
saying
they
that
say-
when it comes to abuse, the man can go to hell.
Good. Now, let's round off. 15 seconds each. Yeah? What's your message for the world to take away from this program? Because we're going to do more additions to on it.
Yes, I think we need to speak out. We need to act. It doesn't matter who the person is. And here we're talking about someone who's highly educated, a lecturer. It doesn't matter. It might be a politician tomorrow. We all have to speak out. And when one person speaks out, we all rally around.
Yeah?
I think families and communities should present safe spaces for children to talk. We should make it easy for children to come to us. The churches, everyone, let us stop this taboo silence and let us stop blaming the victims. One last thing I'll say, Her senator has not spoken up. I've not heard anything. Her House of Reps member has not spoken. I haven't heard anything. It is shameful. I don't know who you are, but you need to repent.
Funke?
What I would just like to say is that we shouldn't stop this thing. We should try as much as possible to continue to talk. Sometimes we have another case that the girl died. It's happening every day. We shouldn't get tired. And the children should speak up. I don't know how many of you that are watching. Talk out. One or two person will listen to you and there will be a solution to it. Another thing I want to say is that I would like if the law could give every sexual assault a death sentence penalty.
Good. And on my own case, from me, I would like to say the law should stop sleeping.
Yes.
Law enforcement should wake up to their responsibilities, and parents should stand up and be protectors of the family, especially the children. And for goodness sake, nobody can be proud to destroy a minor. Take that with you. Thank you for being with us on Soni Irabor Live, and thank you for making this program.
Thank you, Uncle Sam.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Right. Bye-bye now.